God.
But we are live. Good evening, Davey. Good evening, Richie.
Good evening.
Right.
How are you doing?
Champion. God.
I sound
But
good.
we
Yourself?
are live. Oops, I just need to mute my. Good evening, Davey. Good evening. There we go. I don't need that on. That's it. We should be back. So, have you guys had a busy week?
Yeah, I wouldn't say a busy week, like just plodding on, you know.
Aye. Have you been on Total Sport recently, Davey?
No, I haven't been on for a while.
Aye.
I get motivated.
It's funny that, like, innit? You do get like that, like.
No, you get nights, weeks you can go on every night, and then you get other nights you just sit back and listen to the other phone calls.
I know. It's queer, like.
Aye. To tell you the truth, there's nothing to talk about because the season's just like hit the buffers, isn't it? You're just waiting for the playoffs, really, aren't you?
Yes, unfortunately. And I think...
And after Tuesday night, I feel like the players and the club and the fans are doing exactly the same.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. It's just got that. I mean, the Preston match had like some sort of end of season feel, didn't it? A friendly sort of feel to it. It's like the players, like the.
Aye, exactly that. It was like a testimonial, you know, like at the end. Tell you what it was like. It was like a game at the end of the season with about 8 or 9 games to go, and you're already relegated.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it felt like to me. Not the other way around. I've never known the place to be so flat, and yet we're still in the hunt. I can't get my head around it.
I know what you're saying. It's the fact, like, well, mathematically, it's not impossible to catch the top 2 or 3 or whatever. Like, but it's like I think just about every Sunderland fan now have just succumbed to the fact that it's the playoffs. You know, so they're just going through the motions.
Until it's mathematically impossible.
It's totally wrong. I totally agree with you. I mean,
I couldn't believe Tuesday night. I've never seen a game as flat in my life.
There was just
awful. nothing in it.
It was absolutely awful to watch, Davey. Serious to God.
What was look at the crowd, man. You think we were getting relegated?
Why though? Why do you think that is?
I didn't know, because I've been saying to you this for a long time now, Cobby. The atmosphere is absolutely dead. It's dead. There must have been 200 Preston fans there, and that's all you could hear was the Preston fans singing. 200, you know.
Ah, you know that, I know.
I just kind of get my head around how flat it is. Flat.
I think what made it worse was the fact, like, as well, Sheffield United and Burnley dropped 2 points. It's like, can we not see it? If we'd had that attitude and got 3 points, then it makes things interesting. It's like, I'm sorry, like, but the players or somebody needs a kick up the backside, because of the effort and the hunger to win games at the minute, especially the Stadium of Light, is pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic, and
that's the most worrying thing to me, other than results. I'm not particularly bothered about the results at this stage now. It's just the fact we're going to go into the playoffs and we're just going to be flat. And you can't be like on the playoffs, or you're out. You're out.
100%.
That's the worrying thing for me.
I mean, Job, to be honest with you, I mean, I think he's sort of gone missing the last 4 games, but a lot of fans are saying, oh, that's because he's on his final yellow and he doesn't want to risk it and stuff and that. But
yeah.
I didn't know. I don't know. I was just annoyed that the fact, like, it took, right, for Preston to do their circus act of time waste, and that was embarrassing. If I was a Preston fan, I'd have been embarrassed with the way they went on. Was absolutely just disgusting. I mean, they're just showing the club up. But what annoyed me was, Davey, it had to take something like that to spark Sunderland into life.
Which is worrying, isn't it?
It is, and it did. It's like it really annoyed the Sunderland players what Preston did there, and all of a sudden, magically, they started to play. They scored a brilliant goal.
Right.
And the crowd actually started singing. Oh, we've got Jacob coming on. Just 2 seconds. I'm just going to rearrange the cameras here because Jacob's come on.
Yeah.
Just bear with us 2 seconds. Yeah, all right, mate. How are you doing?
Not bad, how are you?
So just bear with us a second. I've just got to
Jacob, lad.
out.
How are you, bud?
Yeah, not bad, you?
You alright, son?
Mate. Just happy it's the weekend.
Oh, not bad, Davey. How about you? How's your new house?
Lovely.
Just talk amongst yourselves, lads. I'm just doing the camera because Jacob's come on. I've just got to adjust things a little bit, so just bear with me.
Jacob, I've had the internet issues since Davy's been back.
I think we know. I think Davey might be a Russian agent. I think he's secretly Russian. He's not a MACKEM.
He looks Russian with that new haircut.
God's sake. He looks like an older version of Rusin, doesn't he? Nazi Rusin.
Yeah. We'll be fucking playing shortly.
Just gonna say hello on the chat. Hi, Cabby, Davey, and Rich. This is before Jake came in from David. MACKEM Pastor Alex has just popped in. He says, feels like I'm watching Sky Sports pundits in the new studio. He says, like the new setup, Cabby. Cheers, Pastor Alex.
Right.
David Joblin says, can you see it? Can you, Rich?
Oh, it looks brilliant, mate. Yeah.
Spot on. David Joblin went, Cabby, Davey, Richie. Colin Majors popped in. How are you doing, Colin?
What's going on?
He says, hi, lads, like the new look, Cabby. So there we go. It was just kind of worrying. It took for Preston to do what they did to wind the Sunderland players up. And that's the only time I heard the Stadium Lights singing was literally 3 minutes after Mundell scored that wonder goal.
Yeah.
You know. And I've even watched YouTube. One of these Preston fans is doing a vlog from the away end, and even he said it's just the only time I've heard the Sunderland fans is when Mundell's just scored.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's embarrassing.
Jacob, what did you think for the Preston match, mate? I mean, we were just basically saying the lack of effort's worrying. It's like they've almost sort of just gave up to. Yeah, they've accepted it's playoffs only, which I think is really wrong because as long as it's mathematically impossible, they should be playing out their skin to try and get a win.
Yeah, it was diabolical, wasn't it? Especially at first half, and we didn't turn up till the 80th, at least the 80th minute, after Preston started time wasting and put 12 players on pitch, which I think was a disgrace. And yeah, it was just flat. And I shouldn't say this, but I think our fans were flat for most of the game until Preston started cheating. It's like the fans only woke up then. But it's a midweek game as well, isn't it? And it just a performance. It was like you could go to sleep watching that. But we shouldn't be accepting. We shouldn't be saying to ourselves, "Oh, it's playoffs now." The players shouldn't have that mentality. They should still at least go for it. But I mean, it could be worse. It could be in a relegation battle.
Right, Cabby, you know what winds you up even more? When they tell you that there's 37,000 there, and you know for a fact you're sitting there and you can see there's about 25.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what it
winds you even more?
Do you know what it was like? It's like the old days when we were in League One.
Aye.
That's what it was like. And we've had one of the best seasons for a long, long time, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
And, you know, let's have look where we are, for God's sake. We're fourth off top. We've made the top three feel uncomfortable for quite some times in the season, breathing down the necks. Why the hell is there such a lack of effort from the fans? We're fourth off top. I mean, it's like
never lost more than one goal.
I know. It's like
Can't get your head round it.
It's like the fans have just sort of given up as if to say, what's the point of turning up?
Yeah.
It's only the playoffs. It's like, what?
It's a dangerous game to play because you kind of just switch your form on like that. You cannot.
Nah. What do you think, Richie? You've been quite a bit. We'll come to you. Do you agree with what we've said about the Preston match, and not just the Preston match? The last few games at the Stadium of Light has just been dire to watch.
As mate, like I said to you the other night when I joined the stream, I don't think we should have started 4-4-2 for a kickoff.
No.
I was very surprised to see the start in that formation. I know fans and people have been screaming out for it, but just my opinion, I just don't think it suits me. I think we're better when we're playing a 4-3-3, and that's going to be the formation when the fee comes back. So why change it?
Yeah.
I noticed a few things as well. Like I'll just dip into one or two, but what's annoying me is a couple of things where we're getting into that final third. We're rushing the play far too much. We're pinging balls into players, and we're losing the ball, and we're turning over possession so quickly to the opposition. We need to slow down against these teams like Preston and lower teams that are sitting in a block of like 5 at the back, because pinging the ball in is not going to work against that. The other thing that annoying is at the minute is why we're not being ruthless. Why are we, when we're at home, not making it a place where teams are fearing to come and play with? You know what I mean? Yeah. Why are we not pressing, getting in the faces, making it like, we're in control of this game? It's not. We're just letting the opposition just come on with time and time again. And a head starting to drop when that happens. It is, but like, I just think we need to be a little bit more clever rather than being too predictable, because that's what it is at the minute.
Yeah.
I mean, if you remember our predictions, Davey, it was like, I did say 1-0, but I did say it's going to be a tight, uncomfortable sort of game. But I wasn't expecting it to be as bad as that, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, these are teams that are really poor in form. I mean, we didn't really bowl Luton Town. Hull City, it was terrible. And of course with Preston as well, it was the same. I mean, you're starting to get some of the fans saying, is Bellingham's head being turned because he thinks he's going to be away in the summer? Tommy Watson's not the same since Brighton's knocked on the door about him. I mean, it's just because of the way the players are playing and the effort that the fans are starting to speculate and starting to say, well, hold on a minute, what's the reason for all this? Like, even Dan Neil wasn't at his best against Preston. He was struggling to make...
There was nobody at the best. There was nobody more than a 7. Nobody.
2 seconds, lads. Pizza's arrived. Hold on, carry on.
Oh, it's probably a liver and onion in there.
Oh...
That's what he usually has.
Liver on a pizza.
Liver and onion. That's what CABBIE usually has.
Oh, I couldn't be dealing with that, like.
Pepperoni.
Aye, but we had the match like Davey against Preston.
I was disgusted in it. Like, I was really disappointed. You should be just having a go at games like this. Just have a go at the games and try and run yourself into some sort of form. I just cannot understand the thinking of the coaches, the manager, the club, the players. It's as if they're just sitting waiting for the players to start. Well, they'll not be in them. Simple as that.
Just going to catch up on the chat if folks didn't mind. Where are we? Colin Major says, Davey, liking the new look. It's not because I called you Zach Dingle the other day, is it?
No.
Steve Taylor's popped in. Hello, Stevie Taylor.
Stevie boy.
He says, hi, guys. He says, the last 9 games against Coventry has drawn, lost, drawn, lost, drawn, lost, drawn, lost, drawn. He says, you know what's coming next, didn't you? David Walker said, season tickets count in attendances even if they're not used. Pixel Rich, hello Pixel, he says, I've not heard the attendance announcement in quite a few games now. Ollie Alexander says, CABBIE, he says he doesn't really like the new format. I think he's on about the studio. Everybody has different opinions here. David Walker, Watson just come back from bad injury. Jill, the friend of the channel, Newcastle fan. Hello, Jill. He says, hello, Stu. He says, loving your new look. It looks fab. So some will like it, some won't. But like I say, it would be a boring world if everybody liked the same thing, wouldn't it?
Exactly, mate. I think it looked cracking, mate.
Oh, I thank you very much. So Jacob...
Actually, sorry, mate. No, you go on.
No, you spoke. Carry on, Rich.
No, I was going to say is, what's your opinions on the club announcing about the junior season tickets? I mean, I can see the point in a way, but at the same time, I think it's a bit harsh. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I didn't think we should be putting the total blame on that. But if some of them are not going to the games, you know, constantly and continuously, then fair enough. I might have to say, Howard, and you know, it's affecting our attendance levels here. But I'm kind of sitting on the fence with what's happening really with that. I mean, I don't know what you think.
Jacob, have you heard about that?
I think something about it. Heard something about it, I think, on social media or somewhere. And they've also, they're starting to talk about the new season tickets for next season, aren't they? They've already announced them, that they're up for sale now.
Have you
it's usually like that, isn't it, towards end of season?
It is, mate, it is. Yeah. It is. Have you heard, Davey, about what one about the season tickets for the juniors and stuff?
Is this about sort of about they're not going to the match or something, or they're playing football instead of going to the matches or something?
Richard, is it something along the lines if they're not regularly turning up, they get the season tickets took away, or they get some tickets took off? What exactly is it?
So from what I've read, it's something to do with attending over 70% of the matches. Mm-hmm. If they're not attending over 70% of the matches, I could be wrong on that, but I'm sure that's what it is. That then they can get the season tickets revoked.
Well, that's a bit unfair, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. It's one of them things, Davey, where I can kind of see the club's point. Because of the attendance and the empty seats in the stadium is obviously getting talked about and it's getting noticed now. But at the same time, how can they say that the junior tickets saying, well, if you're not attending 70% of the games, I mean, you know, some of these home games are midweek. I mean, the kids have got school, they're doing sports after school, and they've got kids clubs, whatever they're doing, and some of the family might not be able to make it to the midweek games.
Richard, I'd heard one of the issues was, you know how the matches is 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but some of the games get moved to 12:30, and then kids play football on a Saturday morning, so they've got to choose either going to the Sunday match or going to the football club they play for. Which
is a valid point, because my boys play football on a Saturday morning. There's millions of kids out of the country, Dave.
What I mean, it's not the lads' fault, is it? If they're changing the times.
So I think that's what the argument is. I think that's why there's been such uproar about it, because in the championship we're going to play a lot of midweek games. You know what I mean? Like it's the same if my son had something after school, that thing comes first before the games. You know what I mean? And it's you've got to understand that some parents can't pick the kids up from school until like 6, 6:30, and anyway for after school clubs. Mm-hmm. So why penalise them? You know what I mean? Why penalise them like that? But they've got to do something about the attendance. They've got to do something about the empty seats. We've all seen it. But I think there's got to be a little bit of a better way than what they're doing, sort of like trying to penalise the junior tickets.
Let's go back in the chat again. Ollie says, "Cabby, do you have a season ticket?" I don't, mate. I mean, I do all my streams on the Saturday. I'm too busy with my YouTube channel. I get to see all the games. My days were Roker Park, Ollie. I will have to attend a game. I've never been to a stadium like for quite a while. David Walker says they got to use 70% of daytime games. He says club said it's daytime games now. Stevie Taylor says don't think you lose your season cards, but they take loyalty points away. That's the way he says he's read it. But it does really seem to affect the attendances when it's a midweek game, don't you? Have you noticed the amount of just empty seats on a Tuesday night and stuff? It's massively down, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's. Yeah. I don't think it's solely down to young'uns not turning up. The main of the adults turning up for these night games.
I mean, some fans have said, "Can you blame them though for staying away?" Because the fact, like, the football's been terrible at the stadium like recently. It's been awful, and people are just like, "Oh, can I really be bothered to go to the stadium to watch that?" I mean, I know it's the wrong attitude to have, but it's kind of.
They're just waiting for the playoffs starting, like the players are and the club is.
I cannot understand that, because can you imagine how interesting it would have been if we'd had won and we've closed the gap by 2 points to Sheffield United and Burnley?
It's embarrassing anyway, though. I mean, the teams in 5th, 6th, and 7th are getting better crowds than what we're getting at the minute. I just kind of get my head around it.
I mean, do you think Ellen Road? Do you think that would have been as empty if they played on Tuesday night? I'd love to know what their attendance was when they played Millwall.
Or Wednesday night, didn't they?
Wednesday night, wasn't it? Aye. I think it was
the attendance.
I don't know.
What the attendance was?
I'll have a look. Let's have a look. I'm sure. I can't imagine Ellen Road being empty. Let's have a look.
25,000.
Leeds United 2, Millwall 0. Let's see if it gives the attendance here.
I've got a little bit of info about that season ticket thing, so I'll just read it. This is from the Sunderland Echo. It's only a little paragraph. So it says, next season, fans aged 14 and under must use or forward the ticket for at least 70% of daytime fixtures to guarantee access to future loyalty pricing. And fans aged 14 and under that fail to attend at least 70% of daytime fixtures also risk having their season ticket cancelled.
Risk having the season ticket cancelled. I mean, I don't know.
Adults that took turning up lately.
It's breaking news of the football latest score. Bristol City 2, Norwich 0. Bristol City's just scored their second, and they've knocked Coventry City out of the playoffs. Coventry are in 7th, so if we can do your job tomorrow, he likes to keep them out of the playoffs.
Bristol City's flying. That's the way we should be playing, like Bristol City, but we're not. We're playing like Plymouth at the minute, where we look like we're down. It's shocking.
Do you think that? Do you honestly believe that's? Jacob, we'll bring you in. Do you think the reason why Sunderland are just lack of effort at the minute is because the fact like they've just succumbed to the playoffs? They've give up on the top 2, and it's like they're just going through the motions. Do you think that's what they're doing?
So like autopilot mode, like last season, but a bit differently. Like we're just solidifying for playoffs. Is that what you're trying to?
Yeah.
Are you saying the players have got that mentally thinking, you know what, we're not going to get top 2, so we might, and we're not going down, we're not going to drop out of the top, so we might as well just. Yeah, it sort of feels like that. It does sort of feel like that, but I think they do want. I think. Do you not think there's also maybe that they're tired as well? They might be shattered, like how Joe Bellingham was last season as well.
Yeah, there is that, Jacob, isn't there? I mean,
I do think the Hull and Leeds game have sort of knocked knocked them back a bit. I think that's had an effect on them. But I'd say still go for it. We're in the top 4. We're not in a relegation fight, so you don't need to have your head down.
Probably Sheffield United, Leeds, and West Brom, and all them didn't look tired, did they?
Far from it. Sunderland haven't been the same since they lost against Leeds.
Exactly.
That to me.
That was up on the top 2, wasn't it?
They put in such an effort, and mind you, it was a hell of an effort. And I still say to this, I think a draw would have been a fair result at Ellen Road. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Sunderland fan. I thought it was really, really cruel the way it ended. I know you've got to play at the whistle, but that's just zapped all the goodness out the team. And we've just not been the same since that Leeds game because the effort they put in. And if they did that effort at Ellen Road, the last few games at the stadium, we would have destroyed those teams. Absolutely destroyed them. But we've gone flat.
Look how good Isidore was that night.
Unbelievable.
They couldn't cope with him.
Nah, couldn't cope with him.
And look at his form now. He doesn't look the same player, does he?
He doesn't. Well, look at Isidore at Middlesbrough. He took over the Riverside, didn't he?
Right. And yet you look at him on Tuesday night, he looks like he's never met the team, like the players before in his life.
It's really, really bizarre. I mean, to have a laser-guided cross by Hume like that. You see, this is why people have been saying as well, I'm looking at the forums and that the fact we still don't have a quality striker. I mean, he scores goals, Isidore, he scored some cracking goals.
Right.
But an experienced striker, I'm not going to say a score, but an experienced striker would at least got that header on target. I mean, he didn't have to do anything, man. There was enough power in the cross. It was right on him, right on the mark, wasn't it? I mean, how many yards was Isidore out there? 7 yards? Maybe he's a bit nearer, and he headed it about a foot and a half wide. I mean, But what annoyed me with the Preston game was the fact, like, Preston have got now to play for. They haven't, but yet they looked more up for that game than what we did.
Exactly. A total stranger watching that game would have thought it was the teams the other way around, wouldn't you?
Yep. It's not right. I mean, to me, that's just a defeatist attitude. If they're just giving up now because they're thinking it's just the playoffs, it is. It's certainly not fair on the fans that because they're paying the money to GAN who aren't season ticket holders. I didn't know. It was like we just didn't seem to show any interest in going forward, did we?
No, it was baffling performance.
How many times did you get excited at Stadium Light against Preston, Davey? How many times did you get off the seat and went, this is class, I'm enjoying that. That was a good bit of spell.
Not once. Even when they equalised, it was soured a bit because you just so cheesed off by the 80th minute.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of them games that just sucked the life out of you. Totally sucked the life out of you. And I didn't want to feel like that. You want to be seeing enjoyment. Even if you can't get the top 2, you want to go into the playoffs in good form with your tails up, and that's the only chance you've got. Because you can guarantee the team that just pips into the playoffs, they'll be flying come the playoffs. They'll be flying then.
Well, surely that...
Full of confidence.
Surely that's...
Full of morale.
Well, absolutely, Rich. But surely you have to point the finger at Reid Slippery there. He's the one, isn't he? That's motivating him in the dressing room. I mean, what's
just about to say that, Cabbie.
Is he
just about to say where's the leaders? Where's the players that's going to dominate them on that pitch? You know what I mean? When they're seeing the tails drop, where's I've said it here loads. Where is this nasty player who's going to get on that pitch and drive that team up? I don't think Regis Labrie is one of them in the dressing room either. I can see him as being really passive, to be honest. I might just be judging him there, but I can't see him being one of these managers that'll be screaming and shouting and trying to wind them up. There's nobody in the team that'll do that either, and that's what we're missing.
I didn't see one player virtually at all of the whole of that Preston game, getting annoyed, rallying the team up, shouting at people, saying, "Come on, hey, imagine if Kevin Ball had been playing in that game, or Cattermole." You know what I mean?
We just accepted everything that was happening. Just accepted it.
But to me, I can, as you said, Richie, I can imagine Regis Labrie in the dressing room just sort of going with the flow. I mean, we need someone like a Peter Reid in that dressing room, and a Bobby Saxton type to grab hold of them by the necks and say, "Yeah." Do you know what I mean? That is, Reid used to always say, didn't he? Weak as pit. He used to always say that. And, Bobby Saxton, they were just so great together, weren't they? It's like, that's absolutely minging, that, says Bobby Saxton. That's absolutely minging. That's what they need. They need to come out second half with fire in their bellies. Do you know what I mean? We haven't got it.
Honestly, I tell you what, if anyone doubts that, just watch the Man City. When they're doing the behind the scenes, watch how Pep Guardiola goes on with the best team in the world, because he doesn't just stand there and go, "Oh lads, we can try a bit better." No. He gets at every single one of their faces, but he's there as a father figure to every single one of them as well.
Yeah,
it separates the best from the not the best. You know what I mean? And it's surprising, but we've got to have somebody at the club that's going to be, we'll have to, somebody that's going to hold people accountable in the dressing room.
Do you agree, Jake?
It has to happen.
Do you agree, Jacob? Are we missing a leader in the dressing room as well as on the pitch?
I think a little bit, yeah. I'm not saying that. Of course, we're not saying Reggie's a bad manager or a bad leader. I think we just need a bit more. I don't know what the word is. A bit more intensity, probably, in that dressing room, or give him a bit more of a kick up the arse, because especially after that Preston game, they needed it. Because if we'd have won that, it's just frustrating. I think it's just modern day football.
Just going to go
modern
back
day
on
football in general.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's just not the same.
Let's go back in the chat as well. Steve Taylor says on about season tickets. He says, "Don't think you lose your season cards, but they take loyalty points." I've already read that. Sorry, Colin Major. He says it's totally wrong. They have paid for the season tickets. It's wrong that they still got their money off us. Ollie says 34,000 for the Leeds game out of a 37,000 capacity ground, so it was felt relatively full, wasn't it? Steve says the same. Colin Major and says Sunderland haven't been the same since Dodds left, and I still keep seeing comments like this as well.
Aye.
I mean, is that a coincidence or what? I mean, he's doing well at Wickham, He's doing well at Wickham.
Eh?
He's doing well at Wickham.
Is he doing well?
Aye.
Oh, good.
Let's have a quick look anyway. Where are we?
Oh, the second on in League One, Wickham.
Second League One. Well, I'm saying they're doing well. I mean, the last few games they've drawn one, lost, won, drawn. So it's a bit patchworky, but the second off top. But yeah, I'm seeing it a lot, and I still see them comments as well from Sunderland fans saying, since Dodds left or since this new fella's come in, we've just not been the same. But I don't know whether that's just a coincidence or not. I don't know. But like I say, this is what Sunderland fans are starting to. They're just trying to work out why we've just been so naff. I mean, compared to what we were like at the beginning of the season, the first. I know it's different at the beginning of the season, right? We're refreshed. We're all fueled up. It's not been football for a while, but look at us now compared to what we like with the first half of the season. It's chalk and cheese, man. Peter Griffin, hello mate, welcome. He says even with playoffs secured, he says you can't go into the playoffs without good momentum, and that's exactly what Davey said before. Stevie says I've noticed that. Colin Major. David Walker says we were very poor last few games with Dodds there too. So I don't know. I mean, when I mentioned the fact, like, but what's your take on Bellingham, lads? I mean, do you think he's thinking he's going to be away in the summer? That's why he's not his usual self, or do you think he generally has just been watching himself because of the yellow cards he's on?
He has been watching. He was a lot better on Tuesday night, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best game he's had for a few weeks. But we'll see what he's like when he's got a clean slate.
Watson, do you think, like you say, since Brighton's knocked on the door, he's like...
No, but Brighton, he just doesn't look fit. Like, his touch is not that many. The first ball he got to him went straight under his foot and went out.
Could it just be the fact that...
No.
Could it be the fact that, because he's been off for a while, he's just needing to find his feet again?
You've got to give him a bit leeway till he gets his touch back and gets back in. Look, Mundell's just starting to show now, isn't he?
He has.
He was rusty the first 3 games.
I mean, some of the fans, when I read like the news and banter page and that, they're so quick at jumping on things. It's like, Watson's crap. We need to get Watson off. What a waste of space. It's like, whoa, calm down, man. He's been injured. He's not. You know what I mean? He's like, give the guy a break. Do you know what I mean?
Take them about 3 games to get back in anyway. Normally takes about 3 or 4 games before they even you get the sharpness back.
I don't know. Would you say Mundell was man of the match Tuesday night?
Because of that goal, I think that goal clinched it for him because there wasn't any outstanding performance at all. Even Trey Human made a few bad mistakes and lost the ball. We kept getting caught now, didn't we? A good team would have punished us on Tuesday.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's give credit to Preston. I mean, they did take their goal well. It was a good goal.
Right?
It was
he played well at striker, like.
Yeah. But I don't think
he had the ball up all right, but Isidore and Mayenda couldn't hold the ball up.
We're getting each other's way, man, all the time, Davey. Since we get in that box, we're all over.
It doesn't work with us 4-2-2. It doesn't work.
I was just gonna say, right. Once again, on social media, the armchair professional managers, which us Sunderland fans are, we kept on screaming week in, week out, we need 4-4-2, we need 4-4-2. Was that not evidence on Tuesday night that 4-4-2 just did nothing for the team? Isidore and Mayenda just looked lost. It's like it's not worked, has it?
We haven't got the players. We haven't got the squad to play 4-4-2. Sorry, we haven't got the players. We like to play triangles, and he's still trying to play his triangles when he's only got 2 in midfield. It doesn't work. You just get the ball took off you, and you get overrun. And that's exactly what happened on Tuesday.
What's Sunderland's best formation?
4-3-3 without a shadow of a doubt. We've won more games playing that than any formation.
Because we've got more midfield and we've got more of a balance, so therefore we can play that triangle football in the middle of the park and open teams up.
You've got 3 in midfield. Well, so the night we had 2 in midfield, another team had 3. We just got to run.
He didn't change it either at half time, did he? Or did he change formation?
No.
That was
it. We couldn't get my foot on the ball at all the other night. We just couldn't even keep possession for long. It was just pinging the ball in all over, and that's what's frustrating. As soon as we get in the final third, we're playing far too quick sometimes against teams that are playing 5 at the back. Like I was saying, it's just not going to work.
Even when there was like 9 minutes added on, you just couldn't see that second goal coming, could you? It was like, and even the last 3 minutes of that 9 minutes added on, Preston had it and they even got a corner and virtually the last kick of the game. So we should have the ball at their end and we're defending a corner, for heaven's sake. And we're still shocking at corners. Patrick Roberts, I think, in that 9 minutes of injury time, I think it was in the 7th minute or something, we had a corner. He smacked it straight out. It went out everybody, about 100 foot in the air, and it went straight out to touch the other end. I mean, can somebody please tell me a professional footballer is taking a corner like that? And it's not the first time we've done that either this season. Our set pieces are shite. Sorry for swearing, but our set pieces for corners especially are absolutely pathetic. You know, and even before the corner was taken, what I was on about, Gary Bennett was saying, he says, right then, Patrick, he says, clear your first man. He says, let's get a good cross in. He says, just get a good cross in. Just clear your first man. Because he had problems most of the night clearing the first man. He cleared the first man, but unfortunately, he nearly cleared the whole stadium. You know, why are we so bad at tackling corners?
Yeah.
We're not even giving anybody a chance. At least if you get a good cross in, anything can happen. It can bobble around the box. It can come off a defender's backside. It could be an own goal. You're not going to have any chance with crosses like that. You know, and I nearly ended my stream when Patrick Roberts took that corner. I thought, oh, yeah, I was so annoyed. I thought, right, that's it. I've had enough. It was one of those games, wasn't it, that just annoyed you. It just made you angry.
Draining.
So we either need to change the penalty, the corner takers, or what? I don't know. I was going to catch some more up on the chat as well. David Walker says, Job has clean slate now. Hope he's back to normal tomorrow at Coventry. We need him to be. Pixel says, thinking Job was just keeping clear of other yellow cards. Ollie says, my lineup would be this formation. He says, 4-3-3, attack. He says, Pato, Hume, Meffin, 09, circling the midfield, Neil, Job, Brown, attack, Roberts, Mienda and Mundell. Pixelovich says, Patrick Roberts is off the pace too. Ollie says his prediction is 2-3, Sunderland to win 3-2, Mienda, Mundell and Neil. Janet says, I'm full of optimism. Hello, Janet, by the way, that we will beat Coventry. Colin Major says, lads, Dodds motivated them something I think Regis hasn't got. So, guys, it's 2042. We'll move on to Coventry. Let's get to Jacob. Jacob, Coventry, are you confident? What do you think? What do you think we'll do, or how do you think we should square up against our bogey team?
Oh. It's going to be a tough game, and we always struggle with Coventry because they're a big physical team. And since Lampard's come in, he's really turned it around for Coventry. He's got them back to what they used to be, you know. So it's going to be hard. And I might have a more defensive lineup, you know, so we're not. I'd do a more defensive lineup instead, rather than our usual, and definitely not 4-4 that 4-4-2 lineup because we'd get absolutely bumped. But I think it's going to be a draw tomorrow. I'm going for a 2-2.
You're going for a 2-2.
Yeah.
I would be happy with a point. Like, I mean, even better with 3. Like, but
Yeah.
And one thing you will notice, if Coventry are playing decent footy, you listen how noisy that crowd will be compared to our graveyard of the stadium of light, which I hate saying, but it'll just be a concoction of noise. Coventry, they're really vibrant supporters. They're similar to Leeds Coventry. They're really noisy and in your face supporters. So if Coventry start playing some decent football, that stadium will be loud.
Sunderland fans will be up for it. They'll be right behind the team because it's the way forward.
Of course it is,
It's like chalk and cheese.
You get quite a good away allocation at Coventry as well.
Yeah, they'll be behind that goal, and it'll be chopper.
Davey, what do you think we need to play against Coventry? What you obviously the formation you reckon 4-3-3, but
they'll definitely play 4-3-3. So no doubt. And I would just have a go at it. Just have a go and try and run into some form. Get our passing game back on. Get our triangles back on. I would play Rig back in there. I would put Rig back in now.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he's glad to agree, but I would be expecting Rig to play in the semi-final of the playoffs. I would.
Well, he's proven
He'll have had a good rest by then, and I think he makes us tick when he's on the ball, like when he's on song.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Job, Dan Neil should have had a good rest,
mm-hmm.
but we've got to run into some sort of form, like get our passing done and start skipping past players like we were doing.
Well, we'll have to, because we want some sort of confidence, like she said, at least going into the playoffs. But at the minute,
it's so flat at the minute. It's very worrying when you look at them. You think, well, how can they suddenly turn it on at the end of May when the playoffs kick in? How can we just suddenly turn it on? It's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. It's just as simple as that. Did you watch the Derby Coventry game? Coventry were absolutely awful.
Aye.
They were absolutely awful. Now, I take it with a pinch of salt if you want, but I mean, we say we're bad against teams at the sort of bottom end of things, and let's just say where Derby is. I mean, Derby third off bottom. I mean, I know they're fighting for their lives, but according to a lot of the Coventry City fans, they played Coventry off the pitch for the whole of the 90 minutes. The Coventry didn't get a look in, and that's Coventry after having 5 wins on the bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, what do you reckon? How do you think we're going to fare against Coventry in that? I mean, are you confident and whatnot?
Same as Davey, I think Red needs to come back in the midfield. Obviously, if he's fully fit, if not, play Brown there. But I would take Roberts out the team and I'll put Mayanda in. The reason I'll play Mayanda on that wing is because he plays a different game from Roberts. Roberts will cut in. And those balls are getting pinged into the box in Isidore, and it's pointless in my opinion. Mayanda can run onto that line, get to the byline and get them balls in, and I think that's better for Isidore in my opinion. So I would like to see, I don't think it'll happen, but I would like to see him play on the wing. But I reckon it's going to be one of them games, but I think we might edge it 1-0. I can see it just being a 1-0.
Yeah.
It's just hopefully not going to be a basketball game with end-to-end.
I think it'll be a good game tomorrow. I do think it'll be a good game. I think both teams will have a right crack at it. And I just hope we try and run into some form, because at the minute I'm very worried. Very worried.
Yeah.
So would you say the last time you were sort of pleased with Sunderland's performance, would you say was the Leeds game?
Leeds, I thought they were tremendous against Leeds. So unfortunate not to win the game, no mind get something out of it.
Even though we beat Cardiff, it wasn't convincing?
No.
Not compared to Leeds. No. Nowhere near.
No. Leeds was... We played well, man. We played well against Leeds.
I think fitness just beat us at the minute.
It's been flat. Flat.
And Regis Labrie seems to sound like a broken record, doesn't he, when he's asked things? It's like, oh, we will learn. When it's
every time. Same words.
Somebody says on social media as well, when was the last time we actually heard from KLD himself?
I can't remember. I think it was last season, wasn't it?
Aye. Or Speakman, for the matter of fact. When did we last hear from Speakman?
Right.
2 weeks ago, actually. I think it was not long after the transfer window. He had an interview on at the academy.
But KLD, I've never even seen him at any of the matches.
No, he's really keeping a low profile, isn't he? David Joblin says 2-1 Sunderland. Janet says looking for a shock 3-1 Sunderland. Would that be a shock? Rig is nippy. He nips in and out. Does anybody know how many more wins or points is possibly needed to secure the playoffs? Then, if we're saying the top two's gone, how many more points do you think Sunderland will need to say, right, that's it, the playoffs are padlocked in?
2 wins.
2 more wins.
Right. 75 points to be on that. That would get you in the playoffs most years.
Jacob, are you?
Got 3 more. I could get 3 more wins. We'd definitely be in the playoffs. Definitely be all home and home.
Jacob, are you confident in the playoffs?
What that we'll get there, or how we'll do?
Are you? How do you think we'll do?
it depends how we play. Depends how if we turn up or not. If we do what we did against Preston, no. But if we do what we did in August or against Leeds away, then yeah, that'd be fine. But it could go either way, couldn't it? That's the thing. You just don't know.
What team would you?
I think.
Sorry, come on.
Yeah, you just don't know, dear. But we saying what team I'd like if I could choose.
What would you like, or what team would you like to just avoid? Full stop.
I think I don't want Borough because I feel like Borough could sneak in, and I don't really want Coventry, so I'd probably want West Brom at Wembley. I'd go with West Brom.
What, Burnley?
Burnley's a good shout as well.
They'll be
I think that's about it, to be fair.
They'll be a tough nut to crack.
Well, Bristol City are in the top 5. We could have them, couldn't we? Bristol City are in that top 6 at the minute.
Yeah, good point. Good point, Jacob. Yes, Davey.
At the end of the day, listen, it doesn't matter who we get in the playoffs. If we play like we can play, we'll beat anybody. But if we play like we played against Hull and Plymouth, forget them. We'll be out as soon as we're in.
Totally
Simple as that.
Totally agree.
Well, if we can find our form, we are capable of beating anybody in that playoffs.
I think I've seen us play some of the best football any championship side in that this season's played on many occasions.
Exactly.
Richard, are you confident in the playoffs? Who would you like to sort of avoid, or are you with Davey? The fact like it doesn't matter who you play. It's like if you've just got to turn it on, and if we do, we're capable of beating anyone.
That's it exactly. We've just got to play one game and beat what's in front of you. But I think if out of all the teams in the playoffs, I like to avoid is the team that come into the playoffs because they're on the most form, in my opinion, and they're the ones that will be full of confidence. Yeah. And you can see teams like that who just scraped into the playoffs, making the final and making it whoever's in the final with some big problems for them. It's happened before, but I think out of the teams in there, I still think even against the likes of Burnley, I still think we've got the better squad, and I'm not just saying that. I think we'll be the best team in that playoffs. But it's like Davey said, we've got to turn up, and if we don't turn up, it's done. End of story.
And that's why Davey's basically saying it's just worrying like how our form is. It's like, we want to we want some sort of momentum, didn't we, Gordon? Do you think it actually makes a difference having some momentum going into the playoffs?
Oh yes, 100%. Boosts your morale, everything.
So even if there's no chance of getting the top 2, it's still better for the team to win, say, the last 4 games on the bounce than it is to say, shite, we're not going to get the top 2. We'll just go for a couple of losers and we'll get a couple of draws.
On the best form you can. You've got to go in with spirits high, the dressing room together, and everybody on the same page. Because if you haven't got that, then there's other teams in them playoffs that are going to have that togetherness, and that's how teams win games. It's a team game after all, and you're not on the same page.
I'd rather us be playing like the way we were early in the season, where we're getting loads and loads of chances and missing loads of chances. I'd rather that be happening than at the minute where we're not creating any chances and we're not putting teams away. Because that'll put you out of the playoffs. Guarantee you.
It could be over in the first tie.
Oh, without a doubt. Be like that Lincoln where we were 2-0 down by half time. It was over. We were out.
Aye. That's right. Yeah. It was terrible. It was awful, wasn't it?
Aye. We're 2-0 down by half time. The game was over.
And especially if the crowd is the way it is at the first leg of the playoff and we're at home. Can you imagine if it's half empty and it's
the first leg would be away. Well, can you imagine coming back with our crowd and the flat is what they've been? God, that'd be embarrassing, man.
Is that right? Is it because we're fourth? Our first leg will be away. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Surely the crowd at the stadium are like, can it be that quiet. Let's say it's nervously poised at 0-0 the first leg, and we're bringing them back to the Stadium of Light. I mean,
Right? It'll be bouncing.
but we know it won't be. It'll be nervy, won't it?
Right, fair enough being nervy, but you still get behind the team.
Do you think that gives the away? Do you think that gives the away team an advantage if the crowd at home is just dead and no atmosphere?
Of course, yeah.
It's not intimidating, is it, for the opposition? You know what I mean? You're playing in front of if you're an opposition player, come to the Stadium of Light and there's 42,000 there screaming and shouting, it's gonna have an effect on you. There's not many players that played in stadiums that size in the Championship, and anyway.
Pixelovich just asked a question. He says, "Spanner in the works, lads." He says, "Playoffs or not?" He says, "Would another Championship season be detrimental to the club? How disastrous would it be if Sunderland were in the Championship next season, or do we just dust ourselves down and start again?"
Oh, yeah. I mean, to me, this season's been a bonus, and I would say 80 to 90% of fans would say it's been a bonus after finishing 16th. You cannot grumble finishing 5th, 4th, or wherever we finish, can you? If you just finished 16th. We have had some cracking days, some cracking games. We've never lost a game by more than one. There's been like 5-1s or 4-0 ever, like some seasons.
Oh, no way.
We have had a good season, but it's annoying that it comes to the crunch, and with the club doesn't seem to be up for it. That's what's worrying me.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Jacob? Would it be disastrous if Sunderland had another season in the Championship?
No, I don't think it would be. 'Cause I think you just got to take it on the chin and try and focus on the areas where we need improvement on, and maybe get the right players for them positions, and then I think then that you're there, you're pretty much there. And it's sometimes with some clubs, when they go up to the Championship, they might not be in the Championship for long, and they'll go up, but they'll go straight back down. Mm-hmm. But Brighton and Brentford were in the Championship for a lot. They were in the Championship for a long time. They went up and they've stabilised. That's what could happen with Sunderland. I think that's how it'll pan out for us. I can see us maybe, if we don't go up this season, then next season. So, but if we get 4 seasons in Championship, maybe, if that happened, and then go up, then I think we could do a Brighton or Brentford. But I think we could do that anyway. I think we could surprise people.
Yeah, we could do. Good points, Jacob. I mean,
I don't think he's that stupid, KLD. Because look what happened with Ellis Short. Some fans are moaning, saying he's not spending enough. Do you want to do what Ellis Short did with the money and spent it on? Well, not all players, because he did buy some good players. Did Ellis Short, but there were some players he spent ridiculous money on, and you know. So we don't want to repeat of that. He's not. I don't think he's stupid. Him and Speedman, they want to stabilise the club, and you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's it's my opinion anyway. But I think that's the vision.
Yeah.
That's a fair enough point.
I think another thing is you've got to remember as well. If we did have gone up next season, we're going to be selling players the likes of Job and whoever else, you know what I mean? There's got to be money there for it to rebuild. I think we're going to have to learn some lessons. I think we really are. And signing unknown and young players, it's for me, it's not the way to go. But I just hope if we do get that money next season for the likes of Job and possibly like Dan Neal and players like that we're going to be able to spend it.
There is quite a few Sunderland fans do say as well, if we didn't get up, it could be a blessing in disguise, because a lot of fans think we're just not quite ready yet for the Premier League. It's like it'd be like picking an apple that's not ripe and you bite into it and say, you know, we're not ripe enough, we're not ready, we're not, you know. But how you cannot be disappointed with promotion to the Prem. Doesn't matter if you're ready or not. That's the way I look at it. There's no chance at all.
I mean, there's no team ready for the Premier League before they get there.
Nah.
You cannot be. You cannot possibly be.
I was going to catch up on some more chat before we wrap up. Janet says, sell Job and get a dedicated striker. Also, a dedicated cheerleader in the crowd would not go amiss. Pixel Rich says, got to agree with Davey. He says, this has been a successful season in my eyes too. There is a lot of fans as well still wanting to know what's happening with Jaden Dans, but there's nothing coming out of that either, which is frustrating a lot of fans actually. He's like, well, what the hell's going on there?
He'll never play, Cobby.
No, I don't think he will either. Colin Mayer just says, Davey, get a conductor stick and stand in front of the crowd and get them singing. What's a conductor? Oh, conductor stick, of course it is.
I'll get me stick out.
Me and Richie was saying, we could just imagine Davey smacking a drum over somebody's ear at that Preston match. Pixel Rich says, Ellis Short was ill-advised. Ollie says, 3-2 to Sunderland when we end a Mundell and Neil. And Pixel Richard says, you never be ready from the Premier League end of, and that's exactly what Davey has just said. So it's 9 o'clock. It's gone quick. Thanks for your time, lads, this Friday night. Do appreciate it.
Scrolls in the doors for tomorrow.
Yeah, Jacob, we're going with you first. What you going with? What going with your scores for?
2-2.
You're going 2-2.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 1-1. Davey?
I'll go for 2-1 Sunderland. Isidore double.
Ooh, Isidore double. Shaken, not stirred. What about you, Richie?
I'm sticking to 1-0. I think on my end, I might come off the bench if he doesn't start and might nick it.
So, well, on the plus side, nobody says we're going to get beat. Well, that's the end of the show. I'll just say thanks for everybody who's tuned in on the Friday night. Pixel says, great show, lads.
See you Monday night and enjoy the match tomorrow.
Okay.
Take care, David.
Good night, everyone. See you later. Thank you. Ta-da. Cheers, folks.